Hi, welcome to Happy Tales. I'm Cheryl Rosenthal, Communications and Education Coordinator at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society.
And I'm Joni Geiger, Executive Director.
And today, Joni, our show is all about Condo Kitties.
Condo Kitties.
Condo Kitties. Something that we started when we moved into 1925 Shelter Court. The whole idea behind this building was to house animals in a less stressful environment. And the condos were a great invention, built in such a fashion that they could give individual cats, meet their needs while they were here at the shelter, where they would be able to hide and get, height is very important for cats, for security. They're more comfortable at a height. Give them some room to walk around. But what we didn't expect is that when people came to visit us, that the condo kitties are in high competition with the animals or the cats that are kept in the galleries or the community rooms. And it's been very disappointing and kind of heartbreaking for us to see that people walk in, and even though they are looking for a single kitty or maybe just one more kitty, the condo cats are being overlooked.
Right.
And these are wonderful, beautiful cats that deserve to have a home. And we want to talk today about why are some of the cats in a condo and why you should take the time to give these guys a second look.
Absolutely. You know, and it's just, I think it's just human nature. People come into this building and it's a little bit unique in comparison to sometimes other humane societies because we do have the community rooms. In other words, the cats are loose. There's, 8, 10 cats in a room. There's chairs. It's very homey. It's very nice. People can go right in there. They can sit down. Cats can come to them. So, you're absolutely right in that it's in direct competition with our condo kitties. Our condos are beautiful. They're all glass. They're actually a shower stall that we had custom made. And they really do meet the needs of, as you said, so cats can hide and scratch and do all those different kinds of things. But they aren't as attractive as, obviously, the community rooms, and people aren't as drawn to them. So the truth is that very often these cats get passed over. Despite the fact that our matchmakers, our adoption people are sharing information about them, people just kind of walk by them and kind of keep going. So we wanted to take the time today to explain why some of these kitties are in condos and maybe talk individually about the cats themselves. Right.
Well, let's talk about, first of all, why are cats in condos?
Sure.
Why is a cat in a condo? A cat can be in a condo because maybe first and foremost, there are some cats that plain and simple just don't like other cats. And so this is the cat that gravitates more toward its humans, wants to be with its humans. And so hopefully there are people out there that want to have a single cat. For people like you and I, cats are like potato chips. We can't, one is not enough. But hopefully there are people out there that, still want and can comfortably afford just one cat. Then my explanation to the children when I'm doing an education program is not all cats do well in the galleries. Cats, when they live in a colony with other cats, they form a type of bond. Sure. And if you have like 6 or 7 people in a gallery room, and or cats rather, and one of those cats gets adopted, and then a new cat comes in, their friends are changing all the time.
Right.
And I don't know about you, Joni, but I have some really good friends, and when they move away or they go away or whatever, it's difficult to make a new friend. And so it's not that these cats that are in the condos can't live with other cats, it's just that in the shelter environment, it's added stress to them to have different cats constantly coming and going and coming and going. Sure. And so for that reason, we're going to put that cat in a condo. And we're really looking for the special match.
Right, absolutely. And then, it's kind of in comparison to, like if you have a bunch of roommates and your roommates come and go and come and go, it does create a little bit of chaos and a little bit of anxiety. And you have to be the right kind of person to be able to adapt to that. And some cats just don't, they struggle with it. And understandably so. I mean, there is absolutely, it doesn't make them bad cats. It doesn't make them unadoptable.
Well, and that just kind of points out that animals, cats, dogs, rabbits, gerbils, whatever, they all have a different personality.
Absolutely.
They have all things,
Sure.
different things that they can tolerate and are able to
Yeah,
withstand.
and it isn't one size fits all.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they're not all the same. They're very different and unique, and that's what makes them wonderful,
Makes them
beautiful
special.
pets. Yeah,
and
exactly.
each one of them is special in their own right. So,
Well, let's talk about maybe some of the
Okay.
specific kitties we have. I think there's other reasons too. We should probably cover
well,
that.
Other reasons. Maybe a cat has a medical condition, could require a special food. Maybe the cat is prone to urinary tract infections, and so we have it on a special food. And I have a cat that's on special food, and I have found that it is a little bit more expensive, but when I started comparing with other high quality foods that I should be feeding, it's really not that much more expensive. I also live in a multi-cat household. We have just made the commitment that our cat that needs the special food, we feed him in a different room than
Sure.
the other cats.
That makes sense.
Some cats, and here I wouldn't suggest doing this without your veterinarian's consent, but you could also feed all your cats the same
Right.
food, but make sure that it's the urinary tract food or whatever is recommended. Other reasons, I'm trying to think.
Well, I think that, sometimes, it's usually the big three, which is, I prefer to be a solo cat.
Right.
I can't handle the
changes.
community or the changes, and then probably diet. That probably are the
biggest three.
Yeah, the biggest three reasons that we see over and over again.
And we've had condo kitties that have started out as condo kitties, and then we have learned more about them,
Right.
and they have graduated to
Sure.
be in
Sure.
a gallery with other cats
And
too.
the fact that we only have 10 condos, which means that we have 10 separate areas for kitties that live alone or in a solo environment. We have cats waiting to go into those condos. And it's difficult when people,
And Joni, all this summer we have had over 200 cats continually. Every month we've had over 200 cats, and we've had wonderful foster homes, and we are a life-saving shelter. And it's very important, we will not euthanize healthy adoptable animals for space.
That's what life-saving is.
That's what life-saving is. We're not a sanctuary, and
Yeah.
a sanctuary holds animals indefinitely.
Right.
And we're not always able to do that, especially in the case of these condo kitties. We have more and more kitties that need these condos, and so it's really important for the community to understand the basics of life-saving is we need people to donate to further the mission. We, of course, will not euthanize for space. We need our foster homes that take in those animals when to expand the walls of the shelter when we're full. But then, most importantly, we need people to come in and adopt these
Absolutely.
animals.
Yeah.
And by adopting these animals, somebody, I think it was one of our staff, said that when you adopt an animal, you're really saving two.
Yeah.
Because you're taking one home and you're making room for another one that needs
Absolutely,
help.
especially in our situation, because
So-
it's so imperative
Well,
that we have
and
that
these
space.
condo cats are wonderful, and I'm gonna talk about Romeo.
Right.
I love Romeo.
Right.
Romeo.
But before we start, the one thing that I do want to say, and I want to share with the community, is that, people, you talked about sanctuaries, and the truth is that quality of life is everything, and it is not fair to make these cats live in a small environment, in a small territory, forever or for a long time.
And we don't have any other place to put them.
don't.
And
Yeah.
so unless somebody adopts them,
Right.
their quality of life
is compromised. It's
right
compromised.
for a limited time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever boarded your dog,
Yeah.
it's not his same routine. If you've ever boarded your
Yeah.
cat, it's not the same routine, but it's temporary. It's a matter of days or
Right.
weeks,
And that's
not months.
all we're supposed to be, is temporary. We're a stop in their life, and that's
Right.
it. We're
Right.
not like
We're a stepping stone.
Yeah, we're not. It's not where they're supposed to live.
Right.
So,
Right.
anyway, so let's move on to the kitties.
Okay. So Romeo, he's 6 years old, and I love Romeo. He is a dark faced, he almost looks like he's got some Maine Coon in him. And he came here, all these animals have come to us through no fault of their own. Romeo's owner passed away, and he ended
wow.
up here.
Okay.
And I had the opportunity to take Romeo to the radio station with me. And he is quite a character. He's fronty-clawed, he is neutered, he loves to play. He is extremely playful, and a lot of times I think people look at older cats, anything over 2 is old. They play, and you know, part of the key to a cat playing is you have to play with them to make them play.
Right.
And he is
Good point.
he is one of those cats, Joni. He does not like other cats, but he probably would do well with dog if you have a dog. And he's just really a great cat, and he loves to be brushed, which is a real plus because he's a longer hair kitty.
Yeah.
And he's been here, I believe Romeo's been here since September.
Right.
So I'd really like to.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is that, you know, as the weeks pass, I mean, it's just, you know, people just kind of pass over them, and
They get depressed.
Yeah, they do get depressed. You're absolutely right, Cheryl. I mean, it's like people need to, you know, I'm a big believer that there's somebody for everybody. You know,
Given enough time, there is somebody for everybody.
And people, you know, we're just asking people, stop, take a look. If you're interested, this is the place to come.
Spend some time with them, get to know them.
Yeah.
And we can't always, the animals aren't always, you know, it's kind of like, oh, I'm so tired of putting my best foot forward and coming to the front of my cage or whatever, because people just walk by.
You see that. They just get compliant. They just, you know, well, that's Romeo, and then let's move on to Mr. Kiki.
Okay.
And Mr. Kiki is a Condo Kitty, 4.5 years old, domestic long hair.
Okay. He's also been here since September.
Yes, he has, and he was surrendered by his owner. And they actually, you know, cats and dogs actually very often have more than one home in their lifetime.
Right.
Dogs will have an average of 3 homes in their lifetime. Cats will have an average of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 different homes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they move around, and so you know, adapting to these new environments. I mean, every time it gets harder and harder. And
right.
You know that,
well,
Cheryl.
and cats are territorial, so it's very stressful for them as they move around. So in his 4.5 years, Mr. Kiki already has had a couple of homes, and then I don't know. Do you count us as a temporary home?
Well, sure we are.
So
you know, we're part of his environment. You know, this is his territory. So you know, and he's just a really nice cat.
Yeah. And it says here he's great with children.
He's playful. He's affectionate.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, he's also great with dogs. Great with dogs and kids. So what other combination could you ask for?
I mean,
you know,
kids and
there
dogs.
are some cats that are more dog-like. I have a cat that fetches and comes when he's called, and so there are cats like that. So Mr. Kiki is really.
And I think we need to talk about too is he's black.
Oh, well, that's right there. That's a big strike against you.
Yeah.
Black animals are often overlooked because they're common looking. There's nothing, and here again I go back to personality. I have a black cat. Several years ago I also had a black cat, and I'll tell you that to look at my 2 black cats, totally different personalities, you know, so that each one is different. And I think they're beautiful in their own right. So hopefully, you know, people can look past that and realize that, yeah, I might be a black cat, but wow, I have personality plus when you get to know me.
And I do find that, at least, you know, when I work the adoption for, that people feel strongly one way or the other. They really like black cats or not so much.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not, you know, just in the middle of the road there. They feel strongly about that. So, but you're absolutely right. Black cats are really can really bring out the worst and the best in people. So you know, people, you know, they're wonderful cats. You know, it's just a color, really. So
here we have Olive.
Okay.
Olive is a very young cat. She arrived at the shelter with a litter of kittens, and you know, when cats come into the shelter with kittens, we immediately put them in foster care. So mom is allowed to nurse her kittens and socialize them and litter box train them, and she teaches them how to wash, and then her cute, cuddly, adorable little kittens come back to the shelter. They get spayed and neutered, and because they're cute and adorable, they get adopted, and there's mom still sitting in the foster home, and she's only 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And so she too comes back to the shelter, is spayed, ready to go. But again, because she's an older cat or because she's been in foster care for so long, and we maybe don't know a lot about her, she also may or may not need a condo.
Right,
Needs to
absolutely.
be an only
Yep.
kitty. So
and she's a little tortoiseshell.
she is a tortoiseshell, and she is extremely affectionate. She loves to rub on people. She's also very playful, and she is very good about using her scratching post.
Yeah.
So that's also very important. And those are a lot of things that, thank heaven, our foster homes can help us learn about.
Absolutely. Yeah, they
about
can give us
these
a lot
animals.
more information than obviously just us observing here in the building.
Right.
So, because it's a home environment.
Right.
And then we got Bob the Blob.
Bob. Bob came into the shelter, well, he's been here
Off and on.
on and
Yeah.
off. We had someone adopt him that really fell in love with him. He is a beautiful silver and black
Oh, he's
long-haired
beautiful,
cat.
beautiful cat.
And Bob from the get-go had some urinary tract infections and was on the special food, and now it's been determined that Bob will need to be on soft food for the rest of his life.
Yep.
He is a wonderful cat,
He is
but
a
here again,
sweetheart.
he's very affectionate, and really, because he needs to eat nothing but canned food, should that be a death sentence?
No, absolutely
So,
not.
so
Yeah.
we have Bob.
Okay, and then we're going to move along here quite quickly here,
Okay.
Cheryl. So we've got a few more
Okay,
that we want to
we've
talk
got
about.
Pounce and Jazzy. Pounce is a 2-year-old, again, another black cat. She is delightful also. But here again, you have to take the time to get to know her.
Yep, and that's a stray kitty.
Yep, she's a stray.
Surrender, sometimes, you know, and obviously we see a lot of strays. We see a lot of cats that come in. They're social, they're friendly, which means to us that obviously they've lived in a home environment
Right.
because they're used to people, but unfortunately they're wandering the streets.
For whatever reason, they were, you know.
Right.
And then we have Alexis. She's another little tortoiseshell. And then we have Ivy.
Yeah.
Ivy is a very, how would you say, a very assertive little girl. She wants to be in control. She is the queen. And she has been here since September of 2010.
Yes.
And
Think about that.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the good news is that off and on she's had an opportunity to go into
foster care.
Foster care to give her a break, and so she doesn't have to live here all this time. But you know what? She deserves a permanent home.
She deserves a permanent
Yeah.
home. And Ivy could live with a very laid-back male. She just needs to be the queen of the castle.
Queen of the
she is a
castle.
beautiful long hair, and at current time she's
running
shaved.
around now, is it? That's why I'm laughing.
She is shaved because her fur has gotten quite matted.
Yep.
And sometimes the best thing you can do for them is to
Yeah.
just do that. And
What are we calling her? A capoodle?
she,
There she is.
well, look at that. Talk
Perfect
about
timing.
an entrance. Perfect timing. This is Ivy. She is just, isn't she beautiful?
Yeah,
she's
she's like a poodle and a cat, and because
Yep,
she's
she's
got
been
that
racing
beautiful
around
coat.
here, playing and running, and
She's just having the time of her life. She really is enjoying herself.
And again, she is only, well, now I'm sure, you know.
2.5.
Yeah, she's 2.5 because
Yeah.
she's been here. But this is Ivy, and she's one of the condo cats that really would love to have somebody in the community come and spend some time with her and give her a home.
Great. Well, let's take a little break, Cheryl, and we'll
Okay.
move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Joni, I think in addition to our condo cats, I think it's important to let our audience know that condo kitties are not the only animals that have difficulty getting adopted. We have other animals that are what we consider harder to adopt.
Right.
And that would be true if, and I'm not just talking about cats and kittens, but also dogs and rabbits,
Sure.
and even some of our small mammals.
Yeah.
And here again, these animals may have a health condition that is treatable and is something that can be controlled or eventually will go away. And again, they sit here for a longer time. And we try to do everything that we can to showcase these animals, or we put them out on Facebook and we have them on our website, and we try to do different things. So it's important for people to understand that we have some animals that are kind of what we call on the fast track, animals that come in and they seem to get adopted right away. But then we have some other animals that people kind of hesitate, and I would hope that some of our viewers would consider finding out more information about those that maybe have some special needs.
Sure.
Because sometimes we get dogs in that have heartworm, and people are like, ooh, I don't know if I can deal with that.
Right.
Well, it's something that's treatable, and it's something that I am a very strong advocate for dogs being on some type of heartworm prevention, depending upon your veterinarian, whether it be 9 months out of the year or year round. This is something that is so easily prevented, but is very expensive and is very to treat.
Right.
But once the dog has been treated, it isn't something that they're going to have forever.
Well, and I think we want to share with our viewers, Cheryl, that we recognize that people come in here and they don't necessarily want to take on an animal that has special needs, and we get that.
Right, we understand.
But then we truly do. But I think there are some people out there that are better equipped to do that, or they're caregivers. They want to help, and if that's the case, then obviously we want them to stop and look and check out these animals because they have value.
Right.
And that's important. I think we need to talk about value because these animals do have special needs. It doesn't mean that they're not adoptable. It doesn't mean that they don't deserve an opportunity for a home. As all of us mature and get older, and of course you have pets that have gotten older and had health issues, and you dealt with those, and and because you love them and you're going to do that.
Right, and that's something that occurred after I had them for a number of years.
Sure.
And I think it's difficult for people to think about, well, do I want to intentionally bring an animal into my home? But like you said, there are some people that they like that. I don't want to call it a challenge, but in some respects it is that and if you have the means,
and
I can help. I can really help this animal,
and I can save a life.
And I can save a life. And so those are things that people need.
So that's that's what we're asking. We're not telling people that they need to, take these animals or else. But the truth is that there are some of our viewers out there that really are drawn to these special need cases, and of course we're encouraging them to consider coming in.
And Joni, there's another group of animals here at our shelter that need extra consideration, and those are our older cats.
Yeah. And dogs.
Older cats and dogs, and again, that's one of the things that I really am so proud of our shelter, that we have a wonderful track record for adopting out older cats. We've adopted out, I know that we adopted out a really old cat. I think she was, 18 or 19?
She was 19. She was soon to be turned 20.
Yeah. And she got a wonderful home, and she's still going, and that's wonderful. And we've adopted out some 10, 13, and 16-year-old dogs, and have had happy lives with their new owners. But so many times people come in and they go, oh, I don't want an older animal. And again, all of us are going to die, and we're all going to die of something. And so there's no guarantee when you get a pet, whether it's 1 year old or 6 months old or 10 years old, we don't know how long they're going to live. Our primary concern is quality of life.
Quality is everything.
And to know what it's like to be loved, to have a home. And they have a home here, but it's not like home sweet home. And so again, the benefits of having an older animal, especially if you have older animals at home. Like right now, my oldest cat is 13. I would not ever think of bringing home a kitten. It would drive my older cats
Oh my
crazy.
goodness, yeah.
And that's why oftentimes when people have an older cat in the home, we'll recommend if you want a younger cat, maybe you want to consider 2 kittens, or somebody who's maybe 5 or 6 and a little bit more on the mellow side. So we always want to take into consideration the pets that you have at home, and to make a good match with that. And we've been doing this for, I don't know about you, I think you've been doing it, what, 18, 20 years now?
About 19 now.
19 years. And so it's very important that, you know, we do know what we're talking about. And these older pets, a lot of times they're already house trained, and people worry about the baggage that comes with them. And I have found, because I've adopted some older ones, and I have found that if you can get through that baggage, underneath there, all they want is a routine, and they want to be loved, and that all falls by the wayside, and you have a wonderful pet. So again, hopefully people will think twice about, you know, gee, I'm not getting any younger either, you know.
And don't pass these animals over just because they're black or they're a little bit older or they might have a special diet. That's all just surface stuff. What they are inside is really what people need to respond to.
Right, that's what they need to respond to. So anything else you want to cover?
No, I think
we did a lot. We hope that you've enjoyed our show today and that you will consider coming in and stop by the condos. We'll be more than happy to have you come and visit the galleries and visit the dogs in the kennels, but stop and check into our Condo Kitties and give them a chance. And so until next time, happy tales to you.